Hello and welcome to Excel-Dashboard-Templates.com. This is Steve True. Please visit my blog at Excel-Dashboard-Templates.com so that you're sure to get the latest charting techniques, tips, and tricks to become amazing in Excel. Okay, today I had a posting from a mom who was looking to chart this data in a forum group. Looks like her son was in a science fair and she was trying to help him create a chart for this. He had 3 different subjects who did Wii Sports and Real Sports, and he took 3 different measurements: before, the pulse after, and then how many steps were taken for 3 different sports: tennis, bowling, and baseball. So since the data was already out here in the forum, I went ahead and just highlighted it and did Control-C, or you can right-click and do copy. Then I went to my spreadsheet, went into the cell A1, and I just did Control-V or paste. And so I've pasted those values into this first column. Then what we want to do is we want to get our data out of these, and you can learn a little bit more about this at my blog on how to use text to columns. But let's highlight the column A. Let's go to our data ribbon. Then from our data ribbon into the data tools group, we want to do text to columns. Okay, you've got 2 choices, fixed width and delimited. I usually choose delimited and click on next. Now yours may look like this, where it's got just a tab, but you can choose other delimiters like space, and that's going to get all of our data into individual cells from one column. Let's click on next and then just hit finish. Now it's messed up some of our row headers and our column headers and all of those, but really we're most concerned about our data. So let's go ahead and rearrange this data and flip it on its head so that we can make this chart for the science fair. So I'm going to insert a column. Actually, I'm going to insert 3 columns into this chart because I know how I need the data grouped. Once again, we're going to first start off with our subject. So the subject A, and then what we wanted to do is we wanted to know what sport it was going to be in, because that's how they're grouped right now. So we're going to do tennis, and from tennis, we have the different trials. We have trial 1, we have trial 2, and we have trial 3. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. Now the next grouping we're going to do is bowling, and the final grouping was baseball. Oops, not basketball, baseball. Okay, perfect. I'm just going to go ahead and copy these down into the different ranges so that we can see the data as is. Alright, so the last thing that we need to do is we need to add one more column, but we do have this one here I can overwrite, but I'm just going to go ahead and insert another column. And we need to break up this data because we don't want trial 1 and 2 right next to each other, because we have 2 different data sets for each trial. First we have the Wii Sports. Let me move this down a little bit, and then we have the Real Sports. Okay, let's do the same thing for the next one because we can copy Wii and Real down. That's trial 2, and it looks like I need to insert 1 row in between trial 3 and bowling. So let's go ahead and do that there as well. Now you're going to continue this pattern for bowling as well as baseball. I'm going to skip ahead so that you can kind of see what the ultimate data looks like and how we create the final grouping. So here I've gotten all of the data rearranged for each subject. I've got subject A, B, and C. We have tennis, bowling, and baseball. We have trials 1, 2, and 3. We have Wii Sports versus Real Sports, and then I did their pulse before and after and their steps taken for each one of those trials. And the data, this data down here for trial 2 and 3 were over on the right, so I just rearranged the data completely. Now once you've done this, what this is going to do is, you can see how we've kind of grouped these different trials over here on the left. What that is ultimately going to do is this is going to create a grouped access label. So let's go ahead and make our chart now that once you've done that. So go ahead and click on cell A1 and then highlight the entire range. If you want to know how to highlight a massive range, go to my website and look that up as well so that you can see how we do this. But I've highlighted the range from A1 to G37. I'm going to go up to my insert ribbon. I'm going to do a column chart, and I am just going to do a regular clustered column chart. Move that up here and then expand it so that you can kind of see what that ultimately looks like. Okay, so what we've got is we've got subject A and subject B. Look at these groupings that this access has done because of how we created those within the Excel spreadsheet. It's grouping tennis together, it's grouping trials 1, 2, and 3, and then you've got Wii Sports versus Real Sports for each one of those different trials for subject A or subject B. Okay, so let's see what Excel's doing here. It's created a multi-category grouping for our access label. So let's right-click on it and then do Format Axis. Let's see what Excel's doing. We've got, notice here on the access options, it says multi-level category labels. If you've never used that before, it's a great way to combine your data into different ways. So let's uncheck that and see what it does to the chart. Look at that, it's only now using the access labels of the very first column right next to our data. So if you want to change that, we can right-click on it, do Format Axis again, and then check the multi-level category labels. Okay, so let me modify this just a little bit more over on the left-hand side of our data so that you can see how it changes. So we've got subject A is the only value all the way down until you see subject B. If I add any other value in this column, like subject A1 and subject A2 right next to baseball and bowling, let's go look at what that does to the chart. Notice it is only grouping just like the tennis and bowling are right now with subject A, subject A1, subject A2. So whenever you put something in that each column, it's going to create that as a grouping until it hits the next grouping label. We go ahead and delete those, and you can see we can take those out. So real quick and easy way to create groupings within your chart. It's another way to take a look at your data for your Excel dashboards. Please visit our blog at exceldashboardtemplates.com so that you're sure to get the latest charting tips, tricks, and techniques. Thank you.